Okay, guys, it's Beth Murphy here, and I want to talk about the higher self today because I just did a video called Why Would a Soul Choose Depression? And I was thinking that would seem insensitive to someone that didn't understand the difference between you and your higher self or your soul. Because, people that are depressed or sad or experiencing anything they don't want to experience, they feel badly and they don't want to be told that they picked it. Well, they didn't pick it. They didn't pick it. Your soul has a different agenda than you do. And I just want to explain the difference. Okay. So here you are on Earth. And then, the soul is an aspect of the oneness. I'm just going to call it the oneness because you could call it God if you want. It's not my favorite because religion I don't like the connotations. There's an energy that comes with that word that I don't care for. Some people call it source. Some people call it the I am presence. There's so many ways to say all that is. Some people call it all that is. So there is a oneness, all right? And then there's aspects. So if you can imagine that there was originally as if there was time, there was a oneness and wanted to experience itself in all the ways that it could. Because in order to experience anything, you have to have it in relation to something else. You have to have something to compare it to. So this is our way from our human perspective to try to understand something of this magnitude. This is the best we can do to explain it in human terms. With our vocabulary, we say it wanted to experience itself in all the ways that it could. And it allowed itself to, I don't want to say break up because it's not breaking up. It's just an experience. It's a fractal. It's complete in itself. And yet it's having its own individualized experience. Okay? And we call that also free will. Free will. Say, go do whatever you want. I love you that much. That you're my creation. This is how, where religion said my children. So that's kind of where that came from, you can imagine. So one of those aspects is you. And when a soul has so many incarnations, you're just one of them. Your personal, individual experience, you're an ego, and you have that unending part of you. So we could say like you're part mind and heart. Who you really are is heart. But, we experience through a mind and a body. And you will, after you are no longer in a body, this is temporary, you will retain what, everything that's been in your mind. But your mind doesn't conceive of anything. Your mind is more like a computer. So your heart is really where it's at, when you live from your heart. And that's where human evolution is going. We're all going to become more heart-centered. And things are going to get better. It's moving. The consciousness of the planet is moving. We're becoming more heart-centered, more loving. I know everything's kind of in an upheaval, but this is part of the greater plan. You have to get rid of all that's not working, all the ego constructs. We're getting rid of that. But so your soul is, you can think of it as like an advanced version of you. It's more complete. It's more holistic. It has that God aspect, that on the way to God, that's more God than you are, more source energy, more of that oneness. And you know how people describe God? They say it's, or energy. Oh, that's a good one. I like you saying that as well. Because the way that we describe energy is the way religious people will describe God. It's unending. It's everywhere at once. It knows everything, you know. So that also is called the unified field in physics. Yeah, that's a little more complete, this list here. So when your soul has an agenda, it is having experiences, as we talked about. I just said the oneness is fractalized, so it can have these individualized experiences. And your soul is after different things than you are on this planet, because the soul can't really take everything as seriously as you do, because it knows there's no death. There's no death for it. So I know that's hard. It sounds hard. It's not playing with you. It's not trying to hurt you. It's actually always leading you into love if you can train yourself to hear the call. So you didn't incarnate without tools. You didn't incarnate without, picture a string tethering you to that oneness, which is your true home, which is, you know, when people die and they come back, they have a near-death experience, they say that's their home. I know it's a lot to ask. When people are on Earth, they don't have these connections. They don't feel these things. So I'm trying to teach you about something you may or may not know about, and I want to reach as many people as I can. The soul, it's always beckoning you. It doesn't want to cause you any grief, but what it will do if you don't hear certain calls. Let me give you a life example for myself. I like using myself as a guinea pig because I've already been through it. It makes me feel like I wasn't through it for nothing. And it's a real world example. I'm not just talking about ideas here. I'm going to give you an example of how my soul actually caused me physical pain, but it was for my own good. You see how it might be hard to hear that, but I'm telling you, I'm at the other end. I'm at the end of that story. So let me tell it. All my life, my first 25 years of life, I thought I would be in a certain career. I thought I would be in the restaurant business. I lived, breathed, ate it, slept it constantly. Everybody that ever knew me knew that about me. And I had my waking experience, and it all left me instantly. And I'm going to go into that in other videos because it's really important, because I think it's going to start happening to you guys if it hasn't happened already. So I completely changed. I was still me, but those pursuits, they just dropped away like they were nothing. And I'm telling you, they were my everything. So you can imagine that there was a bit of confusion. Like, what do I do now? I don't have the urge to do what I always thought I would do. So I was in this period where it was like a stop and go. I still would go back to that life to try it out because I didn't know what to do with myself. And, we live in a society where we earn and we produce to be members, and to be a member of a household, and just, like I say, a member of society. People ask, what do they ask? They ask, what do you do? So there was a real pull on myself to do. So I went back to my roots. I went back to a boss that was very not good for me. Let's put it that way. I would get along with him as it served me, but we really didn't belong. I didn't belong with that type of person anymore, especially since I was evolving. And I put myself in that position where he hired me, and as soon as he hired me, I hurt my back for the second time. The first time I hurt my back was in that same place, and I hurt it very badly. And then I tried to go back again, and I hurt it again. A car ran into the back of me, and this dramatic stuff never happens to me unless I'm in a bad place. And I'm telling you, I've been on the earth for going on 46 years now. Nothing bad happens to me unless I'm in that funky, dark place. And then drama happens. All my life it's been like this. It hasn't happened that much. But if ever I'm being dramatic, drama comes. And I was going in the wrong direction. And my higher self stopped me. The car hit me. I couldn't work anymore. I shouldn't have been. I already hurt my back once. Like, I literally can't stand to do my job. Isn't that funny? Isn't our language funny? I can't stand to do this job. And I hurt my back, and I literally couldn't stand. I heard it the first time again with that same job. And this was already after I had my awakening experience. And I just didn't know what to do. And I felt so guilty for staying home and, not producing, not knowing where I belonged. So I tried that last life again, because that's what it felt like. Sometimes I'll joke and say in my former life, I was a chef or whatever. So I tried, and then I got hurt very badly, and then it healed a little. And then I'm not really sure of the timeline, maybe let's say several months. And then I had the guy hire me back again. And then that's when the car hit the back of my car, like on the first day back. So it was glaringly obvious that I did not belong there and that I had better heed the messages. And in fact, I wasn't even left with a choice anymore. And you'll find these stories, maybe an athlete that got hurt, and then they couldn't do what they thought they were going to do. And instead of using their body, they had to now use their mind or something like that, So these things make sense. They're not random. And they're always for your higher good, even if you don't understand. And that's the rough part, because you just have this small vantage point. And it is asking a lot of you to imagine that you're so much more than that. But all the information, it's always what it says. Your higher self has a greater vantage point. It's as if it's on top of a mountain and you're in the valley, and it's telling you go left, and you have to blindly trust. But you do have to trust because it's you. It's the advanced version of you. It doesn't want you to fail. This is just this giant experience from that oneness. It's part of all of it. And you agree to it even though you don't remember before you incarnated. You said you'd go. And you're having an individualized experience. Your soul wants this experience that you're having. And you're also part of the collective that's here now, like you chose to be on earth now. Otherwise, it would not be in your awareness. But you're here right now, so that's what we always deal with. We don't worry about other timelines. We don't worry about other lifetimes. You're here now. Work with that energy because that's all that matters. So it's very important to focus and stay centered in the now and just improve where you're at, because it actually goes in both directions and will improve your what you consider your past, and it'll pave new ways for your what you consider your future if you improve your now. And that's a lot to explain. I've already gone further than I wanted to go. This is my second video on the same topic, and I wasn't even going to release this one because I felt bad for I'm like giving you this giant scribble, and I don't know what's coming across. I can just give it my best to try to explain. And I'm going to continue to talk about these things because I think the NFers of the world, I think you're even more special than I usually say you are. And I'm going to continue to explain that in case some of these metaphysical things and these advancements, awakenings, whatever you want to call it, you're going to continue to do that. That's what the intuition and the feeling is going to continuously bring you. It's going to bring you to the things that I have experienced. And if you haven't experienced them yet, I want to tell you kind of what's in store for you. Or if you're in the middle of it, I want to explain what's happening to you. And then some of my subscribers have had this happen. I'm so glad that they say that, because then I know I'm not trying to feed people something they're not interested in. Because I had the idea that you guys are going to go through this, and then even in the couple of you that have said something, it makes me feel better. So you are different. You are different. If you're following me because of the INFJ stuff, you are different. You're not crazy. And other people are going to have these things happen to them too. And if you're following me for the metaphysical stuff, great. Yay. I love talking to people that are interested in the things I'm interested in. So, thanks for listening. I'm going to put a couple pictures to this video and I'll get it out as soon as I can. I'll talk to you guys pretty soon. Okay? Bye.